Welcome to the Success Mindset Podcast, where we empower you to unlock your full potential and achieve greatness. Join us as we explore the transformative power of your mindset and uncover the strategies that will help you conquer your goals and create the life that you've always dreamed of. So buckle up, get inspired, and let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Success Mindset Podcast. If this is your first time here or you've been here before, I'm glad you're here. This is where we focus on clear thinking, consistent execution, and building results that actually last. And today we're talking about something simple, but it's where most people get pulled off track: consistency. Most people don't struggle because they don't know what to do. They struggle because they don't stay with it long enough. And the reason they don't stay with it usually isn't effort, it's how the work feels. Because the things that actually produce results over time don't feel impressive while you're doing them. They feel repetitive. They feel predictable. And if you're not thinking about it the right way, they feel like they're not working. So what people do without even realizing it is they start to drift. They don't make a big decision to stop. They just start adjusting things that were already working. They add something new. They change the approach. They look for something that feels more effective. And over time, that creates a pattern. They start strong, they build a little momentum, and then they change something too early. And then they lose that momentum, and then they reset. And they go right back to the beginning. Not because they can't do the work, but because the way that they were thinking about progress keeps pulling them away from what actually creates it. Consistency is not just about behavior, it's about how you think about the behavior. Because the way that you think about the work will always determine whether you continue the work. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with consistency is because what they're trying to do doesn't actually fit how they live. It works when they're focused, it works when they have time, it works when everything is controlled, but real life doesn't stay controlled. Schedules shift, energy changes, things come up. And when something only works under ideal conditions, it's not something that you're going to repeat. And so that's where the shift needs to happen. If your thinking is focused on doing more, you're going to build something that's hard to sustain. If your thinking is focused on long-term execution, you'll start building something that you can return to. That's the difference. You stop asking what works best and you start asking what you can actually repeat. Because repeatability is what creates reliability. And reliability is what produces results over time. So there's a simple truth here that most people overlook. Success is built on what you're willing to repeat, even when it feels ordinary. That's the part that most people move away from. Not because it stopped working, because it stopped feeling like progress. When people talk about inconsistency, they usually think they lost momentum. But what actually happened is more predictable than that. They return to their default, the way they normally think, the way they normally operate when something isn't new anymore. When something is new, you're intentional, you're focused, you're aware. But as it becomes familiar, you stop thinking about it the same way. And you start evaluating it, you start questioning it, and you start looking for something better. And that shift in thinking leads to a shift in behavior. You slow down, you adjust too early, and you step away from it completely. That's not a discipline issue, that's a pattern. And if that pattern doesn't change, you'll keep repeating the same cycle. You'll start strong, you'll build momentum, you'll change direction, and then you'll reset. So if you want consistency, you don't need to just have a better plan, you need a different default. And what's a different default? It's a way of thinking that supports continuing even when the work feels repetitive, even when it feels slow, even when it doesn't feel like it's working yet. And that shift doesn't happen in big moments. It happens in the small decisions. The moment you feel like changing something that's working and you choose to stay with it. The moment that you feel like starting over and you decide to continue instead. That's where consistency is built. At some point, this becomes bigger than just your own results. It becomes leadership because people are always paying attention to what you repeat, not just what you say once, what you consistently do. If your direction changes often, people hesitate. If your approach keeps shifting, people hold back. They don't fully commit because they expect things to change again. But when your behavior is consistent, something different happens. People trust the direction, they move with more clarity, and they commit more fully because consistency removes uncertainty. And that's one of the most important things that you can give people as a leader. Clarity, stability, something that they can rely on. Because what you repeat becomes what people respect. Not your intensity, not your best days, your patterns, your habits, what people can count on from you over time. So if you step back and look at this as a whole, this isn't really about doing more, it's about thinking differently about what works. Most people, they don't struggle because they don't know what to do. They struggle because they don't stay with it. They move away too early. They change it too quickly. They interrupt the process before it has time to build. And that creates a pattern of starting instead of a pattern of building. But when your thinking shifts, your behavior follows. You stop chasing what feels better and you start continuing with what works. And when you continue long enough, something changes. You stop restarting and you start building. And once you start building, you create results that don't need to be rebuilt every single time. As you go into your day or your week, keep this simple. Look at what you're doing and ask yourself one question. What am I actually repeating? Because that answer is already shaping your results. And if you want different results, you don't need something new. You need something that you can continue. So keep it simple. Stay consistent. Keep the fire burning. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode of the Success Mindset Podcast. Remember, you have the power to shape your destiny and create the life that you desire. If you're ready to take action, subscribe to the podcast and never miss an episode. Share it with your friends and your family and help us build a community of like-minded individuals striving for success. Until next time, stay motivated, keep learning, and let's continue to achieve greatness together.